Happening today, court filings in the Michael Flynn case expected to be released.
These filings could feature new revelations into the case against President's former security advisor. These memos may show information about things Flynn did that did not result in charges. A similar series of memos are expected to be released Friday about Paul Manafort. Now, the release of those memos will certainly have Washington buzzing today.
Already does. Here to break down what's at stake, Fox 5 legal analyst Wendy Patrick. Wendy, good morning.
Good morning.
Seems like every day we have something like, is this the thing that's going to do what people think it's going to do? And yet, what do we expect from these notes and these memos? What's in them?
I think that this week is significant. As Christmas approaches, Mueller's team seems to be tying a bow on the probe. And how do we know that? When we see this trio of sentencing memos set to be released this week, as you say, Flynn's is due today.
Right.
Okay.
It means that the team is done using these witnesses. Remember, Flynn's sentencing has been continued 4 times because he was providing information.
Right.
So when we have all 3 of these men finally set to be sentenced by Mueller, that tells us that they've received all the information that's useful to the investigation they think they're going to get, and they're ready to show their cards in the courtroom. Remember that Mueller's team has been characterized by 2 things: no leaking and no speaking out of court, that is. The speaking is going to be through the information and the facts presented in these memos. That's how we're going to know how close we are to wrapping this thing up.
All right, but the midterms are over, so no speaking, no leaking, and now Mueller is going quickly, very, very quickly.
That's right.
So what do you think we're going to hear? What are we going to see this week?
Well, we're probably going to see an indication as to the direction that the probe has taken. Remember, Flynn pled guilty a year ago. It's hard to believe that some people are probably listening thinking, wait a minute, what did Flynn plead to and who is he? He basically spent a short amount of time in the administration before pleading guilty to lying. Pleading guilty to lying is what characterizes all 3 of these cases, by the way. So ironically, they plead guilty to lying and then they cooperate. And that's tricky for prosecutors because, as happened with Manafort, they expect to get truthful information even though they got a guilty plea to deception. Nonetheless, it appears to have been fruitful for Cohen and for Flynn, for example. Cohen, by the way, provided 70 hours worth of interviews to the special counsel's office, thinking that a work week is only 40. Can you imagine how much time that is? But in any event, that's what we expect to see this week, is some clear direction as to what Mueller's looking at, what he's found, and what we can expect.
So here's what we're getting. A whole lot of lying going around. What are we going to learn here? About Michael Cohen lied to Congress, but now we're supposed to believe what he's saying now. Michael Flynn, Paul Manafort. How do they all come together in this Mueller investigation? And what is the ultimate goal here? Because the president keeps saying no collusion, which, by the way, is not illegal. But what is the end result here, potentially?
The end result has to have something to do with the original mandate of Mueller's investigation, which is looking into coordination between the Trump campaign and Russia. We've gone so far afield from that mandate. We found so many other ancillary crimes that have been charged over the course of the last 18 months. But these 3 sentencing memos today, we hope will have something to do, at least more centrally than some of the other pleas have.
Does it point them in any other direction when they realize all these
could.
guys are lying, though?
It
Why are they
certainly
lying?
could.
Why are they lying?
Well, you heard why Manafort said he was lying. I'm sorry, why Cohen said I'm lying to protect the president.
Sure.
Manafort, of course, had his own financial interests.
Right.
But what it's going to come down to is relevance to the central aim of that investigation, which is coordination between the Trump campaign and Russia. None of what we've seen thus far centrally implicates the president.
Right.
What everybody's waiting to see this week is if these 3 sentencing memos bring us closer to the White House.
Is there any talk, though? You know how there's always, when a big announcement is about to come, there's some sort of speculation, some sort of buzz. Have you heard anything at all, what it could be in these memos?
Well, I haven't, and that also, Mueller's investigation has been leak-proof. And that is why everybody's looking this week. Today, for example, with Flynn's memo being due, is when you don't have leakers, you look for the court speakers. You look for the court documents that are storytelling documents that lay out those facts we wish we knew and we've been waiting for 18 months.
So reading the memos that are going to be released today will give us an indication when the Mueller probe will probably end, not so much what the results will be?
I think both. I think both. Remember last month we heard that they were putting the final touches on the probe. We heard that this morning and yesterday, that these are the final touches. They're just ironing out some details. So the facts in those 3 memos will not only lead us to believe that it's going to conclude sooner rather than later, which is sort of the word on the street, but also what direction it's taken regarding what the conclusions are going to be. Very important week.
I mean, Mueller, true to his character and what everybody says about him, this has been meticulous and airtight until he is ready.
That's why it's taken as long as it has, is he's done it the right way, apparently.
You got to do it the right way.
Right.
What do they say? Cross your T's, dot your I's.
Dot your I's, that's true.
Wendy Patrick, thank you as always. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
7:23.